So you're starting early, like no shit. Hey, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm hanging out in my garage.
Oh, in the garage, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that a woman cave? Is that what that is?
Well, in the situation that I'm in, yes, kind of. This is where I hang out.
Oh, okay. I see a doggy in the background. Who's that?
Yeah, yeah. That's Jax, or it could be Daisy. I don't know which one you see. There's three of them, so you might
Oh
see
wow.
all of them. Yeah.
Oh wow. I have my puppy, but he's out. He's on the porch. So I'm at some point maybe I'll get him and put him on camera, and
Yeah.
he can attack me, and you guys will love it. Oh wait, I can't do it because I can't get my dang camera on. So I just realized that I can't do that. But anyway, I hadn't been on video chat in a while, and part of the reason why we were doing this stream was I wanted to um, do a little video chatting because I hadn't done it in a while because me and Jen we do. Oh, you about to hear an echo? I'm just warning you guys now. And or maybe you won't hear it. But yeah, I just wanted to see if I can get it going, and that's a no. That's a no go. It's a fail. It's an epic fail. So
Epic fail, huh? Yeah.
yeah,
You know what though? It's a learning experience, right? That's what they always say. It's
right.
it's a learning experience. Oh, I hate that.
Oh my god, I hate it too. So, but you know, it is what it is. So, what you been up to though? I know you always got something interesting going on. What you been up to?
Well, I was working there for a little bit, but then I got fired, so now I'm looking for another job. But I just got accepted into this creative writing firm, and so I'll be starting to write articles for them. So that'll be cool.
Oh,
And then,
nice.
yeah, and then I'm going to school, so doing that.
Oh, nice.
And what else am I doing? Me going through a breakup. It's always
Oh,
hard. Yeah, it's always hard.
yeah. Well, it is what it is, right?
Right.
Say lovey,
Say lovey. Oh,
wh-
yeah, I
whatever,
need to say.
whatever, hey, whatever the hell that means.
Ah, you're right.
So,
What have
but
you been up to?
I just working. I had some family issues. I had a death in the family.
Right.
My uncle passed away. Just been trying to grind. Got a new puppy, so me and him are. I mean, once you have a puppy, he's pretty much your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, jeez.
That and children. That'll do it. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you can't just stick your child on the porch.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
And just said, "Here's a bowl of food and water, and good luck." So that's the one good thing about having a puppy is you can do that with him. You know. So, but it's interesting. My dog, he's a multi poo,
Yeah.
and he's this dude is so freaking smart. Like what I notice about him is that he will just watch and study, and then
Hmm.
and he's smart enough to know that certain things he's gonna get in trouble, right? So
Hmm.
he'll wait behind your back to do stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
See, I didn't
Daisy
know.
does that too. She will wait until I'm not paying attention. But when I was getting ready for work, I'd be putting on my makeup, and that little devil would go out and dig a hole in the flower garden to bury her bone.
Mhm. Yeah,
Funny.
like he like I didn't know that he can climb out of his playpen.
Yeah.
And okay, so one night. I'm I wake up in the morning and he's in the living room in the playpen,
Uh huh.
and I walk in there and I look at the playpen and there's nothing in the playpen, and
Right.
I'm like, what the hell? And I look over and he's sitting on the couch,
Oh.
out of breath, looking at me like, hey. And I'm like, what did you do? And I went and got him, and he knew I was like upset. And then
Yeah.
and I put him outside, just for a little bit while I can get his playpen, cleaned it up or whatever. And then the little mess that he made on the couch. I mean, he didn't use the bathroom on the couch, but he just ripped up a bunch of stuff.
Oh
And
no.
and then I put him back in the playpen, and I was like, "All right, show me your little magic trick." And it took a while, and then finally, I seen him. He climbed up onto the couch. I was like, from the playpen. I was like, "Oh Jesus!" So I had to reinforce the playpen so that he can't no longer do that. And
Right.
I'm like, you little sucker, you know.
Yeah.
But you know
Yeah.
what? It is what it is. I see we have a couple of people watching. Um, Please put in the chat who you are. Let us know who you are so we can give you a shout out. And if you
Yes.
want to join, we have. Uh, I'm gonna pin it in the on the Facebook so you can join us as well. Uh, if I can, let me pull it up. This is a free form conversation, so anybody can come on and talk and chat it up with us. All right, I'm putting it in. Here we go. I gotta remember what I'm doing. It's been a while. Pin. Boom. All right, boom goes the dynamite. All right, so yeah. But anyway, so yeah, it's been kind of fun. Uh, I mean, well, not kind of fun. It's been a lot of fun. Even when he gets on my nerves, I'm
What?
even when he gets on my nerves, I have a good time with him. So, oh, Stephanie, what's up, Stephanie?
Hi,
Uh,
Stephanie.
Big shout out to Stephanie. I want to be like Stephanie when I grow up, because Stephanie is just a baller, shot caller. You know, she really, she be on Instagram showing her new bags and all of that kind of stuff, and you
Oh
know,
yeah.
I want
Show
to
it if
be
you
like
got
Steph.
it.
I want to be like Steph, man. Steph is Steph is definitely pretty cool people. I've known her for quite a while now, and I can't wait to get her back on one of the shows too, to chop it up because she's always very entertaining, and I love talking with her. But I wish I could be on camera too, but there's some issue that's going on with my camera. It won't show up on the browser. I don't know what the hell is going on, but
Did you try like a different browser, like going
I
for like?
did.
Oh,
I
okay.
tried Opera. I tried maybe I should try Safari.
Or Firefox.
Yeah, or Firefox. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, um, so you talked about recently about a breakup, right?
Yes.
And you know, I always breakups are fun, are interesting because you know I feel like if you really care about the person or you've cared about the person, but let's just say it's not working for you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
It wasn't. It just wasn't working anymore.
So if the person, it's sometimes easier if they cheated or if they've did something really bad because then you can easily just write them off.
Right.
But then when it's kind of like one of those situations where the person really didn't do anything, you're just not feeling it, and then you kind of feel bad because maybe they're into it still, but you're not, and then it's like, man, I gotta tell this person I'm not. I don't want to continue.
Right.
And it can be difficult. Some people seem to have find it easy. I've never been that kind of person. Like I really feel, I'm a very empathic person. So,
Right.
I don't like to hurt people and whatnot. But
Right.
I
You
mean,
know,
like, is there an easy way to break up with somebody?
no. and it's difficult because I'm living with him too right now.
Oh
So
wow.
like he didn't like kicking me out on the streets or anything like that. But we're
Right.
living together. And
Mm.
that's interesting. You know,
Are you guys still staying in the same bedroom?
no.
Oh, okay. Well, at least
I
yeah.
I took over the bedroom and he sleeps on the couch.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm just going to take it with what it is, and I'm going to try to get the hell out of here as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's pretty nice of him though, of allowing that.
Yeah, he's not he, and and I'm sober too, so like, he doesn't want to risk my sobriety by me being forced to go someplace that's not good for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's nice of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Like, have you ever had to give the speech to somebody that you no longer wanted to be with them?
Yes.
Yeah. It's uh.
It's so awkward, right? And then like, you're gonna hurt them, and like, it's just such a burden, like that you carry that you have to.
It's not you. It's me. Yeah.
Yes, and then all that bullshit. Yeah, let's stay friends. Like, you
Yeah.
just stay friends with your ex. Some people do. I mean, I actually okay. I'm friends with a couple of my exes, but
Yeah. I don't know, man. I've said stuff and as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, "What am I
mm,
talking about? What am I
well,
talking about
see,
here?"
see, the one of the biggest problems that I had with him in the relationship was that he didn't know when to stop saying and calling names. So
Oh.
that pissed me off. That really made me mad, and I hate that it made me that mad. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I don't want him to get the best of me.
What's the worst thing a guy can call his woman?
A fat cunt.
She's a fat cunt. Oh, not just a cunt, a fat one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? When I was younger, bitch was the worst thing you could call a woman.
Oh
And,
yeah, no,
and
it's definitely gone like
now it's
10
cunt by far. Like,
by far.
yeah, it's like I don't even know when did that happen where all of a sudden cunt took over bitch. Like sometimes you can actually you can kind of come back from bitch if you slip and say call her
Right.
bitch.
And you know what though? And it depends on how you say bitch. Because if you
Right.
say bitch, you know what I mean? Like that's a endearing name. You know what I mean? So like you gotta be careful. And
Excuse me, sorry.
it's kinda like bless your heart, you know what I mean?
Bless your heart, bitch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because bless your heart means fuck you in Southern, like
You can't. There's no way you can come back from cunt.
no. Nope.
Cunt, you're done. Pretty much, you're done. Stick a fart. I mean, how can you? I mean, you could. I mean, you could say you slipped or whatever, but there's no slipping for cunt. That is like you were trying to stick the knife deep in there. I mean, I'm not suggesting do either, but I'm
Right.
just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, that it seems like cunt is like way worse than bitch. And yeah,
It's enraging. That's what the problem is. Very it's it you it's somebody is trying to piss you off when they say that. You know what I mean? And
right,
like and it's unnecessary.
yeah,
There's
and
no
it's
need
almost
for it.
like I always almost feel like when you call a woman you're dating or you're with a cunt, you are basically trying to burn the bridge and make sure you can't never go across the bridge again. Like
Right.
you know,
And the problem was and it still is I let it happen.
mm,
You know what I mean? I perpetuated the situation by not stopping it whenever, and I tried to, but
mm,
you know, people have a way of turning situations around. So
yeah,
you know,
make you the bad person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. I'm just, he's hurt, I'm hurt in different ways. And it's just going to be awkward when we start like going out with other people. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's going
Well,
to
I would
hurt.
wait. I would wait until you leave the house before you start
Uh, yeah, but I
before.
have like friends that want to hang out, and like, it's
Are they male?
some of them are, not
Yeah.
all of
I
them.
I would just I would just hold off on that until you
Wait, you'd wait, yeah.
yeah yeah because you
I'm
don't want
not
to get
in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry at all. Like, it's not a urge of mine to go out and
mm,
mm,
that's smart. Just hold off, and then once you are in another situation, then let your freak flag flow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the thing is, it's like I don't know how to be single again. Like, it's been a while since I've been single, and dating now is so much different than it was whenever. And I wasn't in a relationship that long. It was 2 years, but like from whenever I like first started dating in the world, I'm 41, so like it's been a minute since I started dating, and it's so much different now with the online apps, and you can just swipe left and right, and it's crazy. And
Yeah,
you have to pay for everything, or you can't see shit, and I think that's bullshit. Like,
man,
really, guys?
you don't need an app. You are really good at finding your next boyfriend. So you all you need to do is put your fishing hook out there, and you seem to get you don't even have to bait your hook. Yeah, you just throw it in there clean, and then come back with some fish. But yeah,
uh,
yeah, the dating scene. Oh my god. I mean, I think the only people that enjoy it are the predators. So,
yeah, right,
the,
yeah,
the only ones that are like, I love the dating scene these days, and it's like, it's because they're like the predators. They're the ones that are
yeah.
out there doing crazy shit. Sorry, I have I don't have a cold, but I have you know a funny throat and a funny
Oh,
throat.
I have a funny throat too. Oh my god! Like,
Yeah,
it's like this tickle, and it makes my
yeah.
eyes water, and so like it looks like I'm crying. So here I am, like swiping
Because
away.
you're going through a breakup, so you're crying.
Yes, there's this meme, and it was like, uh, you know, uh, talking about talking about that, and I can't remember how it goes now, but it was something like, damn, I don't remember how it goes. Never mind. It was funny. It was like, every time that somebody's sad, you're supposed to say like, uh you're you're not sad, like you're it's anyway. Never
Hmm. Hmm.
mind.
Hilarious.
It's hilarious. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, I, it's interesting though the whole dealing with the breakup. I don't. I necessarily am not a big fan of breaking up with people. So, but I don't understand these people who they're like so down with it. It's
Yeah. It's
they're
like
like
a pastime for them. It's like, man, ouch.
like I gotta go kick them out of the castle. You know, it's like wow. And I don't know, like I feel like proximity too is like you should be careful who you date. Like you don't you don't want to date someone in your building, someone at your job.
Right.
Unless you really like feel they are the person, the one. You don't want to necessarily. do that. Is because
Right.
that'll open the door to a lot of drama.
Yes, absolutely. I have to tread lightly while I'm here because, I don't want to disrespect him. He's being very nice. So,
I wouldn't either. Yeah, I'd be really, really nice until I don't have to be. So I'd be like, I'd make them breakfast in the morning, and then because that's really nice of no, that really is really nice of him to do
I
that.
make him dinner every night. So, he'll be okay.
Okay, well, hopefully not ramen noodles or something like that.
No, no, I know how to cook.
Oh, okay. Oh, excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like young ladies now uh, don't know how to cook like they used to?
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, when I say they used to, I'm not even going back to like the 50s. I
no,
mean,
me
like I'm
either.
talking about like when you were like 20. Do you feel like 20-year-old girls now cook?
No, they don't know shit. They don't know
Mhm.
any life skills. Like, what do they know how to do? Take selfies?
They know how to order from Uber Eats and
Yes,
DoorDash. You know,
yes.
I remember on one of the shows I talked about how us guys, like, if you're feeling ill and your woman makes you like some soup and brings it over or something like that, how, like, we appreciate it, and then they were saying, well, why does she have to make it? Can she just order it from some? I'm like, oh god,
Mm,
you missed the whole point. The point is that you made it
yeah,
with your hands. That,
yeah.
I mean, shoot, I could do that. I could order from Panera Bread some soup, you
Right,
know. So
right.
no, I it's you appreciate it. It's a sign of that you care.
Yeah, it is a sign that you care. And it's also like the way to a man's heart. It really is. Because if you can cook something, and I bake too, so you're making cookies or brownies or, meatloaf or whatever you do, like it's a sign of gr- gratitude and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that kind of stuff. So, and
Yeah.
I know, and because I've had women that guys care about that stuff anymore. I'm like, BS. That's not true.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. 20-year-old men don't know how to fix anything. Can't change a tire, build a shelf, nothing. I've got a lot of hearts, and cooking was never involved. I'm wait. I've got a lot of hearts, and cooking was never involved. Oh, so she's saying no. That is true. A lot of young guys don't have those skills, like changing a tire and all that kind of stuff as well. So no, I agree with that. It's really, it feels like when I was younger that they trained you to be a husband and you were trained to be a wife, and now it doesn't seem like people have those skills, or they want to say those skills are not necessary and that's old school and all of that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is people do appreciate it. Like, I think women appreciate a guy who can, who's handy, to a certain degree, and and women, men appreciate a woman who's handy in certain ways as well. So you know, so I think it kind of goes both ways. You know, so
Hmm.
you know, but my thing is this though: is why are our women and men, our younger men and women, not getting those skills? Is it something that the parents are just not imparting on them?
Maybe, or it's not the culture. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's easier to do Uber Eats or DoorDash, and they can get whatever they want, wherever they want, and it's convenient, and you don't have to really clean up dishes afterwards, and like, and they're lazy. Let's uh bring up the elephant in the room. They just don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like. when I was young, I knew how to do all that kind of shit. You know, uh, and cooking as well. This generation is considered genderless, so a lot of roles are not clearly defined. That is true, because it ain't like, when I was coming up, a man was supposed to do certain things, and women were supposed to do certain things, and now
Right.
they're saying that's bad somehow. That there's gender roles are not defined and all that kind of stuff. And
Right.
I'm like this. You know, I'm old school. I'm old school. I'm one of those guys who believe in that kind of stuff. So,
Right. And
and
that's
and I've
not dead, you know.
I,
A lot of guys feel that way.
and I've had people on these platforms call me out for being, old school and all that kind of stuff, and I don't care. you know, I don't care. I am who I am. So there. Okay.
Okay. I am
so
who I am. So,
yeah.
yep.
So
Yep. So what's
let's see.
everybody who's in the chat? I can't see it.
Stephanie's definitely in the chat, and it
Mm.
says before the men can't cook, what were you eating? Because the magical woman that makes everything homemade showed up. Okay, so before the men that can't cook, what were you eating? Because this magical woman that makes everything homemade showed up. Um, okay, there are women like that, Stephanie, and you're from the South. I'm
Mhm.
sure you've seen those women before. I'm from Los Angeles, so those magical women don't really exist here. So we have to import our women from other places. so, so
Yeah, other countries sometimes.
right. But here in LA, a lot of men cook, and I'm one of those guys. So I've seen those women and their husbands paid all the bills. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're doing all that, your man, he probably will be paying all the bills.
Hey,
You
don't
know,
eat that. Sorry, my
I,
puppy's
I agree.
trying
I
to eat
agree.
trying to eat a plastic. Look
It,
at this. Look at this. This is what she's chewing on. It's a knife. A
oh
plastic
my
knife.
god.
Goodness.
Yeah, my
Oh,
dog.
Killian.
Every 2 seconds, my dog is doing something that could potentially kill
Yeah.
him. So it is what it is. Let's see. But these current men want that, and you still got to help with the mortgage. Yeah, but you're not gonna even. But really, Stephanie, you're not gonna date that guy anyway. So we're only talking about the men that are, that you want, and the men that you want that will pay the bills. Um, because to be honest with you, women don't care about the guys they don't want. Because
Yeah.
those guys almost don't exist in there. So we only are focusing on the men you want. The men you want pay the bills.
Right.
They they at this point, marriage isn't in the cards. There are no benefits for me. Ah, that's unfortunate. Well, okay, so let's dive into it. Stephanie is a highly successful lady. Um, she's a highly successful lady. I'm not going to pretend to know at what level she is financially, but I'm pretty sure she has a very nice job. So the chances of her finding a guy that is on her level financially, um, it goes down because there's I don't think there's not a whole lot of guys that are making money like that are available like that. So it does make it for women who are very successful financially. It does make it if you want to find a guy that is on that quote unquote level. More than likely, if she does want to get married, it's probably going to be to a guy that doesn't make as much. You know, so if that makes no sense to her, because it's like I mean, I understand. You want what you want. So it's like what's you got to think about the trade off. And then the guys that make them kind of money that she probably wants, let's just be honest. Those guys, you're going to be sharing that guy with other women. you know, I know because you can make the argument. Well, broke guys, they want you to share them too. But I mean, you know, uh, the guys with the money have more access to more women generally. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Being a man with a lot of means is from the dating aspect is a lot easier. Or I don't want to say easier. Um, Broke men have more time to cheat. Yeah, but do they have the access to the women to cheat as men with money though? Oh, you're on mute too, by the way.
The problem is like broke guys think they have like the biggest dicks. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh my god, I'm so hot, and these girls all want me, and they spit a good game, but it's all surface shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all materialistic, or like you can scratch away the surface, and there's a big,
They,
yeah, big mess underneath. You know?
well, I mean, look, if you can slang it like that, you can sure definitely get away with a lot of sins. So, you can definitely get away with a lot. But eventually, though, she's probably gonna get tired of you.
Yeah,
But you know what? It'll you'll get what you want out of it.
true, very true.
So those guys win, man. Um, it's tough being an adult who works, who takes care of his family and his responsibilities. It's difficult. You know,
Hmm.
so and those guys are worth a lot when you have them.
Yeah,
And
and
they know it. And they
and
know
I,
it too.
and I'm not saying at all that broke guys are unavailable, right? So I'm not saying that all broke guys are the same, and I'm categorizing them by from what I've seen, not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not uh generalizing them, I guess would be the best word for it.
Hmm.
And I think that I've been broke for a very long time, so I've definitely seen the broke guys, and like they are more relatable
Hmm.
most of the time. If you are insecure about yourself, they'll make you feel secure about yourself. I think it's all a game, though. I don't know. I'm
Hmm.
not a guy.
Well, if you're broke, it's like you got to think about what does he want. What he wants is probably to have fun with a girl. You know. Oh,
Hmm.
here we go. Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on?
We're talking about broke dudes, and they're because Stephanie says broke dudes have more time to cheat, which is true. It's true. She says I run into men with money, and I'm not focused on the cheating because they all cheat. I'm more focused on the compatibility, security, and stability. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, the she says she runs into men with money. Um, I don't know. My thing is this though: what does the men with the money want, right? What does a man with money want? What does a man who is financially secure really want from a woman?
Oh
What-
man, that's hard to say.
I mean, obviously, there's no one thing because you know we're not they're not a monolith or people, but I mean, you can go off of what you think based on the general consensus, and I don't know. I think legacy is very important. A man with money is not hard to find here. Nothing but people working tech. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, but are these men desirable though? I mean, they got money. Are they desirable? You know, that equals a lot of BS. Oh yeah, I don't know, man. You know, Brian, are you still in Canada?
Yes, I am.
All right. So you are an upwardly mobile man in Canada. You know, so I mean, I know you have like that lever you pull, and then woman just falls out of the chute in the ceiling.
No, not really. Not now. I think I'm 39 years old, and dating is different.
Hmm.
It's a different experience. I think it was easier to date when I was younger, but now, you know, things are just more you're more selective, and people are Ryan, what number girlfriend are we on now? I have no girlfriend. I haven't had a girlfriend for like 2 years, like going on for
Really?
yeah.
Oh wow.
I've dated like last year, like with
Right.
an ex, but like but I've been single for some time.
Oh wow. Okay.
I made a decision to just to
Focus.
focus on my endeavors and to rebuild myself because I've been going through a lot of shadow work, you know. Um, Dealing with autism, like actually learning about neurodiversity and learning about dyslexia. I have autism, by the way, folks. I didn't know,
Really?
but
I didn't know that.
yeah, I didn't know either. So
Oh
I've
wow.
been just focusing on. I've been focusing on just healing. Healing in general. So as a result, I haven't been inclined to date. I haven't been inclined to actually reach out because I think now it's all about just aligning yourself with people that match your energy, and I'm not willing. I think I'm at this point in my life where I don't want to compromise.
Mm, mm. Yeah. I mean, it's very important to find someone that you really are compatible with. You
Yeah,
know, outside of sexual or that kind of thing. Because I mean, it's important, but it's not the end all be all. You know.
yeah,
So yeah, and it's so funny. Like, I love that Stephanie's being is talking to us in from the chat because um, Stephanie, I believe she's in Seattle area now, right? Yeah, she's in Seattle, and I've often heard about that place as far as the dating scene and stuff like that. And you're in Alberta, so I definitely heard about Alberta. Uh, I remember I was talking to a Canadian person from Toronto, and I mentioned I had a friend, a black guy in Alberta, and this white girl says, "Man, I feel for him." I was like, "Damn."
ding 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 ding. Ding. Yeah, because we are this is like we're like Florida here, so we're just a more yeah, it's like Florida but less crazy.
Wow. I mean, I thought that was kind of interesting that she said that, but I was like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. But people have a lot of money here, so like it's like if Steph moved up here, she would be in the it would she wouldn't notice much difference because there's a lot of people with money and they're in either in tech or in oil and gas, right? So there's not much room for there's not much room for there's not much room for middle class men to really find to date because if you're broke, you are going to be single.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's one thing I'm so, I ain't have I haven't been broke for a long time. So I don't even know about that
I
life.
have. I'm so broke right now, guys. If you want to do a GoFundMe for me, I would greatly appreciate
But
it.
but
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
a broke woman is different than a broke guy.
I
Because a
know.
broke woman can always find someone to sponsor them, and it depends on the guy if he's going to get a female sponsor. He better be slanging it
Yeah.
hardcore. If he wants to get someone to sponsor him, and she's probably going to be like a much older woman. But you know, so I'm sure you'll find that. It says my grandma said you should never be broke as a woman. Yeah, I've heard that. You know, and I always say beautiful women are not broke. There's no such thing as a beautiful broke woman. So it doesn't exist. It's like I also said there's no such thing as a big booty homeless girl.
That's,
Because
I
somebody will always
mean,
put some guy will always provide a home for that booty.
yeah,
So
that's true. I can attest to
or vice versa, or she's providing a home for the brothers. Goddamn.
yeah, so,
that.
but you almost never see big booty homeless women. But I digress. I want to be on camera, but there's like this stupid thing where it won't let me I that's why it took so long was because I was trying to figure out. It's saying that it's using another program is using it, but there's nothing running. I've restarted it. I've done the task manager thing, so I'm at my wits end. So I just finally said I'm gonna come in on audio, and then next time I'll just try to see if, what's going on. I don't know if it's the I've reinstalled the softwares. I've done everything, so
What?
that's why I'm not on camera.
Yeah, no worries. What's the topic? What questions you got for me, yo?
Okay, so first we were talking about breaking up because Tori's just recently going through a breakup, and we're
Sorry.
just talking. Yeah,
Thanks.
and she still lives with the guy, so that's interesting. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's like out of some kind of talk show or something
Yeah,
type
I
stuff.
definitely need to write a book about my life because this is crazy right now. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could ever live with someone I broke up with.
It's so
Especially just with her.
hard. It's so hard. There has to be boundaries. There has to be.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I was just saying, like, it's so much easier for me when the person does something that makes it easy for me to just cut them off. Like, I'm an empath, so sometimes it's just not working out, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
isn't because the person is bad or anything like that. It's just not working out. So sometimes sometimes you want to you know it's for me it's like a little easier when someone done something like cheat or something like that because then you could just say get out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it's really then you got to do that little speech about it's not you, it's me, that kind of thing. And yeah,
Yeah,
so
you
Yeah.
gotta be like, oh, I really want to stay friends and stay in touch. And like the whole time you're saying it, you're like, this is bullshit.
right,
Do
you yeah.
Do you know what, like, the last breakup that I had, it was terrible because she, like, I don't know if you guys remember, I was in this relationship with this person, and
Hmm.
she really infiltrated my friends, and got, and became friends with Will Selassie,
Oh
Will.
yeah.
So she got, after the breakup, she was telling Will, and Will was going back to her, and telling him what I'm posting online, and or telling her what I was posting online and stuff.
Oh
Uh-huh.
no.
So it was very interesting because that's when my personal life got into Blab, and Blab got into my personal life. So William, him and I are cool, but it was that was a very traumatizing experience because I was posting and trying to express myself. Now that I know that I have autism, sometimes I use social media as a way for me to, to kind of coagulate my thoughts, right, and try to put them all together. And she was taking it and weaponizing my thoughts and sending me messages, and I didn't
Oh wow.
realize that he was sending her messages. And we got back together again, following that incident, because there was just unsaid things. And what I realized at the end of it all, that her political belief systems, her alignment, was more on the far right, and
Mm.
more she was, like, participating in activities that are racist, and this and that. And I saw this after we broke up. So that really shook me, right? Like, because you are bringing these people in your home, and it's not like I have a lot of choices here in Alberta because we are, it's not, this is not a place where black people go and live. Let's be real. It's Ontario and stuff. So, yeah, I was shook up by that experience. And then another breakup happened, dating an ex of mine. And I had a toothache. And what happened was the tooth was I was so it was so painful because I was freezing it with cold water and I killed the nerve and I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I was just trying to, subdue the pain. And she had no empathy at all. Like
Oh wow.
she was requiring me to be this hyper masculine black man and and kind of turned her off because I was like nearly in tears because actually had a racist experience. I went into the dentist and the dentist was yelling at me for being late when I was driving on the highway. I was driving on the highway with this tooth pain and nearly got into a car accident. My son is in the car and I nearly got in a car accident to get to this dentist, and the dentist was yelling at me for showing up late. And so I cried. I cried in the the dentist sitting down and that because it was so painful and I could not understand why no one could feel no one could understand that I was in pain. They didn't do anything to calm me down. They didn't say anything. She was just continuing. This woman was continuing to berate me in front of all of the people that were in the into the dentist. And when I told my girlfriend, she had no empathy. And then she said, "Well, why did you show up? Why did you show up late? Why did you do that?" So I had a come to Jesus moment at that point that I cannot, like this interracial dating thing. Um, and again, it's not necessarily by choice. It's just what is available here. I just had to stop doing that because you know I just it's just a thin line. Like if I'm going to date you, you have to be, either a woman of color and you have to be black, and not because I'm being racist. It's just you have to understand you have to understand me culturally, or you have to practice anti-racism. You have to show me that you're practicing anti-racism. Otherwise I'm going to stay single. I will never go through that situation again. And it's just wild because there's just a lot of women in this city that date interracially that pretend as if though they're with it, right? Until
Right.
they're not, until they're not. And I don't want to ever be in a situation where I'm being discriminated against and having the person that I care about, that I've brought in close, to lack empathy and not understand that I was in pain. So it was a very traumatizing experience. So that's why I've made a decision to really scrutinize who I date. And even to the point where I want to leave, I want to move, and to find, to be in a place where it's more diverse and stuff. So yeah, very traumatizing experience.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm as tough as they come, and tooth pain had me on my knees, and I ain't gonna lie, I was crying because that
Mhm.
stuff hurt, man. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jen who just joined us. Um,
Hey.
Hey,
Jen,
Jen.
who we're talking about breakups, and
Oh boy.
and I know Jen. She's had to give the walking papers many times. She's kicked many a guys out the castle. It's like the what is what's the line? The princess is in another castle.
Yeah,
So it ain't this one. So,
I,
but yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, if we're all telling breakup stories,
Hmm.
um, I mean, I won't tell you unsolicited, but my breakup story with my ex, not all the junk that came after, just the whole reason that I said okay, no more, is every time I tell the story, I you can, like, when you see people's faces, they go, it's the WTF face. And and it and it both it's so weird because it both makes me feel like vindicated in some odd way, but it also makes me feel like so sad. Like, I can't believe that that's actually what happened, because that is the response that I get. So Is that what you guys are talking about? Or are you talking about
Yeah,
actual like
yeah. No, we were just talking about like sometimes when you have to pull the trigger,
right?
especially when it's not clearly like if someone's cheating, it's maybe a little easier. Um,
Yeah,
but
well
but
done.
when it's it's just more so you're just not feeling it. Oh wait,
Mm.
something's going on. Sorry about that. Hold on. All right, there we go. My thing was clicking. Um, but it can be. What the hell is? Hold on a second. All right, there we go. I don't know why my thing is tripping. Everything is all jacked up. What is going on?
You
Man, I
Well,
have
can't get
bad
the camera
juju.
going. I can't get the
I
camera
can
to
tell
work.
you
I can't.
I can tell you that Mercury is not in retrograde. I just heard that from somebody. I don't track that myself, but I just heard that from somebody when I said everything is going wrong, and they said, "Well, Mercury isn't in retrograde, so it's not that." So you can't
You know
blame the
what?
alignment of the stars.
You know what's funny is like everybody calls everybody a narcissist nowadays, and when people really are narcissists, you don't want to put a label on it. You know what I mean?
All
Like,
right.
you're
Or
like,
I didn't love to use the word toxic. I live in a
yes,
toxic.
oh my god, everything is
Oh,
toxic
Yeah,
now.
toxic. Yeah.
you. I just did a video about that today. You shouldn't be like people are not medical professionals. You shouldn't be diagnosing people with narcissism in general because
Right.
like for example with autism people will exchange autism like or they will assume that someone who is autistic is narcissistic because I was called narcissistic a few times, and it's not because I lack empathy. There's certain social cues that I don't pick up on, but the other thing too is that I like to info dump. I like to talk a lot, right? And I like to talk about my hyper focuses and stuff. So that can come off as narcissistic. So, it's like we have to stop weaponizing these terms. And sometimes we just have to take accountability for, our interactions. Because a lot of people are walking in some of these situations and they know damn well that the person that they with cannot be trusted or whatever, but they go into these relationships anyway. So you can't always blame everything on narcissism or toxicity. Sometimes you just have to take responsibility for your own ass.
Take that L.
Absolutely,
Take that
absolutely. And
L.
it's so hard for people to take accountability for themselves. Like it's like the hardest thing. And it's not that hard to do, but it seems to be like that's the least thing that people want to do. They don't want to admit that like, it's their fault, you know? I
Well,
don't know.
generally, generally when somebody says that somebody else is narcissistic, I always get the feeling that they are projecting something that they feel insecure about themselves. Like
Mhm.
they are feeling like, is this really the way that I'm supposed to be, or did I do something wrong? And rather than take accountability, like you were saying, they project out something to say, well, obviously this has to be your fault. And
Mhm.
that quite clearly, once as soon as somebody starts to say those kinds of things, yeah, you're probably not in the best both relationship space but also even friendship space.
Right.
That's not okay. You're supposed to be supportive. Once you stop being supportive, then clearly the warning signs are up, right? I mean, that just to me that's just pretty maybe not obvious, but it feels pretty strong at that point.
What do you think about being judgy? People who are judgy. And
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of judgy. I'm a little judgy
I'm not
about
gonna
certain
lie, I
things.
can say I noticed that you are kind of judgy.
That sounds like a judgment right there.
It does sound like a judgment, yeah.
Mhm.
No, I mean, I admit it though.
Judging guy
I
and
can
judging
be,
girls.
I can be judgy. Yeah. There are things that I will be like, really? That's what you like? That's what you're into? Really?
Yeah,
You know,
I'm like if
like,
like if anybody tells me they like CrossFit, I'm like, you know.
hilarious. Or I don't know. It's like sometimes I'll ask somebody what their favorite movie is, and I'll
Oh
be
no!
like,
Oh
"Really?"
no!
I'll be like,
Oh no!
"Really? That's your
Oh no,
favorite?
Kente!
Real of all the
Oh
freaking
no!
movies in the world, that's your favorite
Oh no!
movie? You suck as a human being." Sorry, but yeah, I have judged people based on their choice of their film. I mean, not to say. I mean, I like certain, you know, stuff that you could say is throwaway entertainment, but I don't know. But for it to be your favorite, I don't know. Maybe I won't say what this woman said that made me
Of
look at her weird.
Of all
But
the things to be judgmental about, though, I feel like the subjective nature of media is probably not the best. I mean, you should at least go for something like, what's your favorite chocolate? Because that
mm,
I could see come into fisticuffs about, right? Not your
mm.
Yeah.
favorite movie.
Well,
No, you guys are being so serious. And
if she
I'm
says her favorite
kidding.
chocolate, if she says her favorite chocolate is me, then yeah, that's the right answer. But
Oh, that
but
is the right answer.
but I'm
That
gonna
is
tell you,
the
this
right
wasn't someone I dated. I've told this story maybe once before. But I don't know if you guys were in this. So me and a group of people were talking, right, about music, right? We were together, physically together, and we're talking about who different people we like musically and stuff. And then um, Luther Vandross got brought up as being a great vocalist,
answer. Ooh,
right? His singing talent got brought up, right?
Mhm.
right.
And when everybody was talking about, oh, he had this great voice and all this stuff. So there was this one woman that was there, and she says, "You know what? I never thought he could really sing."
What?
And I fucking lost it.
You
I
know what though?
lost it.
Did you know
What?
that he had to take Luther Vandross had to take singing lessons after his first album?
I lost it. I said, I don't want to even hear anything from you ever again. If you're
Oh
that
my god.
stupid, if you're that stupid to think that Luther Vandross can't sing, not that you didn't like his songs, but he can't sing, really? I said, then you're stupid. I have nothing to. I don't ever want to hear a thought from your mouth again. And she's like,
I
well,
f-
who makes you the? She's like, who made you the arbiter of that? And I said, I made myself that. And I made her leave. I was like, that's just stupid. Yes, he can sing. Michael Jordan
you,
can play basketball. There's not a that you can't deny the guy can play basketball.
yeah,
So yeah.
you can't tell me like that's the same thing that happens to me when when people say that Beyonce can't sing. Man, like we friends off. I'm joking. She
Oh,
can't sing.
I was about to say, man, you about to divorce me.
Yeah, yeah.
I like Beyonce. No, I like Beyonce.
She can sing, but she can't
No,
sang.
she's not a singer. But anyway, Stephanie's from Houston, so I don't know if she's in the Beehive or not. She said somebody told her that Breaking Bad was boring, and I almost cussed them out. Look, the first season was slow. I even know I liked the first season, but after that first season, that show is the second greatest drama I think of all time after The Wire. I think
you, you,
Breaking
you
Bad was pretty
you
awesome.
know, Kente, like I kind of feel the same way when people compare when they compare Chris Brown to Michael Jackson or they compare The Weeknd to Michael Jackson.
No,
Who
Like
is
yes,
comparing Chris Brown to Michael Jackson?
everybody. Like
Oh my
they're like, "Oh
god.
man, he's like the new Michael Jackson." I'm like, "Please, like
he's a
don't
great
No.
dancer, but he's not
don't
even close.
compare. You can't compare career, you can't compare talent, you can't compare the history. You can't compare nothing with Michael Jackson. So,
Nobody.
stop comparing like the weekend at all people, like he's so annoying. I just can't stand him. So, yeah, we'll be friends off on a Michael Jackson comment, you know.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
so
my
do
dog is
you
making
guys
noises.
I mean I heard Ryan's, right? I kind of think I understand Kente's, and I think I understand Stephanie's too. Tori, what's your red line? Like, somebody says, "I don't like this," and you're like, "No, I'm sorry, we cannot be friends anymore. That's it."
There's so many things. Like, oh god. Um,
Oh, Tori getting into the weeds.
Uh, really,
I'm
the weeds.
for real. Like, yeah. For real though. Like, that. if you don't know anything about weed, I kind of am like, hey, I'm good. And
Are
then
you and date a non-weed smoker?
I would, yes, but
Mhm.
they have to be open to it. They can't be judgy about it because then no, it would never work.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know,
My
I've never smoked nothing in my life. Nothing.
wow.
I've
Wow, good for
never,
you.
I've
Good for
never,
you.
I've never done a drug. I'm talking about don't. If you say well, Tylenol's a drug, shut up. I mean,
I,
you know
I,
what I'm
I was
saying.
going to ask you about Robitussin, but then I thought, no, I should actually be a nice person and not
I'm
do that
sipping it
because
right
that's.
now. No,
Yeah.
See, I knew that about you. Totally knew that.
I've got my Dr.
For
Sabi
me, it's
drink right
when
here.
somebody says, "Oh no, I don't like
Oh, did
animals
I
of any kind."
put?
uh,
What's that?
oh, did we lose you? Oh, okay. No, you're here.
Oh yeah,
I,
sorry, I
I
lost.
Go ahead, Jen. You were.
I was just saying, if somebody says that they don't like animals of any kind, that's the red line
Oh.
for me. Not because, like, you don't have to have animals. I'm not saying, you have to have some kind of like menagerie or anything. But if you just come out and say, no, I don't like any animals of any kind, to me, that's just like that. There's this closed off section of empathy that I think sort of you can't wall that off. If you don't like animals, if you can't express your compassion to anybody else then or anything else, then it doesn't give me a lot of faith in you being human to human empathetic either. So
Okay, that is shocking that she's never seen Purple Rain. I thought every
that
black
is
person our age, I thought every black
that is
person our
kind of
age has seen
shocking.
Purple Rain. So, uh, but but you know what though? This is a good thing. Let's talk about famous things that you haven't seen, like famous movies or whatever that you haven't seen that everyone has seen, and you just for whatever reason it went by you. Now, obviously, we're not going to go back to
The
the.
Notebook.
Okay, I've seen the Notebook, unfortunately.
I've never seen it.
Harry Potter and the Lord of the
I
Rings.
I've never
Oh,
seen
see,
a
that's
Harry
a big
Potter.
one. Yeah.
I've never seen a Harry Potter. Stephanie's never seen Titanic. I've never. Okay, y'all gonna laugh at me. I'm a big movie guy, right? I've never seen a Toy Story movie. I've never seen
Hmm.
a Shrek movie.
But you
I've
don't
never
have
seen a
kids
Harry Potter. I've never
right
seen a
now.
Harry Potter movie. I've never watched Dora the Explorer. I've never watched. Let's see. I just watched Avatar right before the second one came out. I'd never seen that one.
Second one is
Um,
trash.
let's
I
see.
agree. I agree.
Um, dang, it's a bunch of stuff I haven't seen that everybody's seen.
I
I didn't
watched.
watch. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just being ADHD. But I saw Evil Dead Rise a
I
couple
did
days
too.
ago.
It
Oh
was
yeah,
pretty
I hear it's
solid.
good.
I thought it was
I hear it's
good.
good.
It was
It
very
was
It
it was
was
great.
very
it was
solid.
good. It looked
The
like a
The
never
cheese
seen
comic
it.
grater
book.
scene cheese grater scene is going to go down in my head as nightmare fuel forever now.
Oh
Stephanie's
yeah.
never seen a Marvel movie. You know,
Oh,
this is
see,
something,
that's
and
a big one.
the nerds can come
Any
after me.
Marvel movie, like even like like
Blade.
That's a
The,
big
the
one.
nerds can the
yeah,
nerds can the nerds can come after me.
Ant Man. No,
I will say, and nerds can come after me. She's seen Black
Okay.
Panther. I feel like those Marvel movies are overrated. And honestly, the only Avengers movie I didn't. The Infinity War was a good movie, but I didn't like the first two Avengers movies. I thought I wasn't into it. I just wasn't into it. I actually like the DC movies a little better because
yeah,
they're
me
much
too.
more. They're I like. I maybe because I
I
like them.
like
They're a little darker.
Deadpool. Yeah,
Deadpool,
Deadpool's.
yeah, but that wasn't. Well, I'm talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, I see.
But I'm not in like the first Iron Man was good. Captain America, Winter Soldier was good. Of course, Black Panther was good. But a lot of those Marvel movies, I'm just kind of they're like the same movie. They make the same
Yeah.
movie over and over.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
I feel you because I was the Marvel. I used to collect the comics and the
I
cards and
love the
stuff when I was a
characters.
kid. Yeah, and like I think that I've outgrown. I think with the movies I've been able to see what I needed to see because as a kid I was always picturing movies to be as realistic as now the movies are, and they've just played it out that I'm no longer interested in watching another Marvel movie. It's just like Star Wars. Like it is so overproduced and so perfect that it takes the character, the character, and they produce so much of it that it's overstimulating or oversaturated.
The guy that told you need to watch the Marvel movies in the weekend and watch them in order, don't listen to him. You don't. You ain't missing nothing. you know. Um, but no, I there's a lot of stuff I that a lot of people have seen that I haven't seen, but for the most part, I've seen a lot of stuff. And so we were talking about earlier, as you know, Jen. I have a dog now, a puppy, and his name is Carlito.
Hmm.
And you know where he gets his name from, the great movie Carlito's
Carlito's
Way,
way.
which I love that movie. And Renee, um, uh, when we first were talking and stuff, and I asked her what her favorite movie was, and she said
I need to
Carlito's
head
Way.
out. I'm sorry. I
All
love
right
you
now,
guys.
all right now.
I love the memes, Tori.
Bye, Tori.
Oh yeah, yeah, her memes are hilarious. She said her favorite movie is Carlito's Way, and I'm like, wait a minute, somebody told you to like, somebody gave you some inside information. Like, I've never run into a woman who, like, usually most women I've ever come across think at best think the movie is uh is good, is cool, you know. But most of them like it's more of a guy's movie, and I was pretty surprised that she said that was her favorite movie. So so that definitely won over. And she told me to tell you thank you for the meme thing. She put it in the group chat that you were in.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was pretty cool though. But um I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good thing too. And we have you now, Jen. What do you think about the whole thing that certain movies are guys' movies or women's or girls' movies or whatever, um, chick flicks or whatever? Do you hate that term,
I
chick
kind of
flick?
do. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
do. Not that but I mean, I've used it before just because it's part of the zeitgeist, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I you know, okay, so this actually is kind of interesting timing because I just had this conversation over the weekend about things being socially conditioned for us and then things being sort of like as they are. So, a girl product would be something that is actually anatomically made for a girl, right? Not just because a girl would like it. And that I think is the same way that I feel about movies. Movies are movies.
Mm.
But I do think though that are there are a lot of conditioning pieces that go into whether we like a movie or not like a movie, and men are sort of conditioned to like that was exactly what we were talking about, Stephanie. We were talking about perfume. I was a
Oh,
hundred
so
wow.
you think a guy?
Stephanie nailed it. We were talking about whether perfume was made for men or women, and whether if a woman wanted to wear man's cologne, quote unquote man's cologne, whether that made her somehow like an outlier, or if a man wanted to wear something that was a little bit more floral, if that made that man more feminine. And you know, that conversation was super interesting because it doesn't have anything to do with anything. That's just what we're conditioned to believe.
Mm.
Strong enough for a man, but made for a
Made
woman.
for a woman. Yeah, I love that.
But I mean, honestly, movies are the intellectual property of movies, especially anymore. There's no such thing as movies being made for men or women. Movies are made for people that have the money to consume them.
Mm.
Mm.
Like
So,
when I was a kid, I think I told you this story, Jen. I um I started reading books, and I
right?
read, and the first books I read were Stephen King novels, right? When
Yep.
I was a kid, because I had this older guy that was trying to get me to be more of a reader when I was a kid, and he knew I liked horror movies, so he said, there's books based on horror films, and then I fell in love with the Stephen King books, and I started reading them. But then I finally ran through a lot of them. I didn't, obviously, you're never gonna run through all of his books, but so I wanted to do something different, and there was another movie that had come out, and I knew it was a. I found out it was a book, and I started reading it, and I liked the book. Right? And I'm gonna get to what the book was. And then I started reading the sequel book, and then the book is Petals in the Wind, which was the first book was Flowers in the Attic,
Oh,
and
right.
I was somewhere, and I'm a kid, right? I'm in junior high or whatever, and a guy goes, "Oh wow, you're reading Petals in the Wind? That's a teenage girl book." And I didn't know it. I thought it was just a book. I didn't know that this was a teenage. It was, I guess, marketed to teenage girls or something like that, which is kind of depraved because what's in the book, no teenage girl should read, right? Or boy. But but uh, but it definitely changed. Like, I was enjoying the book, but when the guy said that to me, I stopped reading it.
See, and
You
that's
know,
sad. That's
right?
sad because genderizing things. I mean, this is just me. Don't roll your eyes or anything, but
Hmm.
uh, when you genderize something, you take the enjoyment out of what could possibly be just pure entertainment for either man or woman. And I feel like that's just why rob ourselves of whatever joy we could find in the world, entertainment wise or not, just because we think that something is for this gender or that gender. Do what makes you feel comfortable, not what makes you feel validated in your own gender. That you can do that on your own. That doesn't need to
Mhm.
be,
Well,
you know what I
at
mean?
least it wasn't Sweet Valley High, right? So,
Oh my god.
We had to watch that. Like we had no like in Canada here, we didn't have cable, so like we had to watch like Sweet Valley High, and watch Days of Our Lives. And I used to stay at home when I was a kid to watch The View. And I felt weird
I watched
about
the
it,
View from time to time.
because it's like at the time The View was the only thing where people were actually talking about issues that mattered, right? So I would sit at home and I would watch it because I was interested. And
It
you're
was a good
right.
show in its heyday. It was a great show. I don't know about now. I don't watch it now, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was a good show. It was a good
yeah.
show,
And
and they would have great guests. Yeah.
the whole thing about it's like it's the conditioning, and I see it now more so, the conditioning of trying to make males males and
Hmm.
women, right? Like it's they're real, like they say that they're forcing the LGBTQ agenda and whatnot, but it's the reverse. You're forcing masculinity down our throats, because it's like you're trying to make a man macho when a man has more emotions than you know um than being upset, or like, you know what I mean, or being horny, right?
Yeah.
Like there's more
Wait,
diverse
there's more things besides that. Oh
yeah.
wow! All right,
Being
I'm about to read
aggressive,
about that.
like it's there's and that's the decolonization, that's the decolonizing that I'm doing with myself, right? It's just
Hmm.
being okay, of being comfortable talking about mental health and expressing myself and not being angry, because like when you guys met me during that time, I think I had and the diet also had made a difference, but I was angrier and I was trying to compensate, trying to compensate more, and now it's just like, no, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to take on those behaviors, right? So I think we need to diversify, allow men to be able to be comfortable in watching different things. It doesn't make you gay, it doesn't make you whatever.
Would you be
It takes
concerned if your man Jen is like, "Hey, let's go see Magic Mike"?
no. Why?
I mean, it's
Th-
about male
Because
strippers,
it's
like,
but
like,
okay, let's break this down for a second. Let's break it down for a second.
okay.
So, one, if in a way that's actually kind of endearing, because
Mm,
because th- I think if a man can be that comfortable in his own skin that
hmm.
he can view other men and not be threatened and not be, in turmoil about what other men look like or what other men are doing or whatever, then that's security, right? So like I know, see, the thing is, men don't usually think about these things that way, and it's okay.
Mm.
But
But
I do. I think about it. I think about how like when men behave in a way that they think that the rest of the world is like threatening them, the very first thing that they do is get angry about it or say something like, well, why would you invite me to go do that? What, do you think I'm gay? Do you think I'm this? And and what I said before, I think really matters. It's like, well, okay, maybe you don't, and maybe you don't even like that necessarily. Maybe you don't like the story,
Mhm.
but if you miss out on joy for the sake of wanting to somehow express that this is not who you are, then you just miss out on joy. You don't actually get anything out of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And can I add on that point, Jen? Like, the
Yeah.
one thing, the one aspect of I was talking to someone the other day, and she was saying, yeah, there's something that women hide from men is the fact that that women get facial hair. And I'm like, there's one thing that men hide from, from women, is that for some of us, we have porn addictions, and that we watch a lot of porn, right? Or I'm not speaking for all of us, but there are men that are addicted to porn. So,
Mhm.
when they go to a Magic Mike, they get upset and offended by the content, because it's not that they're turned on by a man gyrating or whatever. It's the fact that they conditioned themselves to sexualize everything. So when they see that,
Oh, that's a good point.
it triggers them, and it's like, if you're triggered by seeing another man do something, then you actually, maybe you need to evaluate whether or not you're objectifying women and objectifying sex, right? Because not everybody looks. There are people who are healed, or people that are not triggered by that can watch it and not sexualize it. If you are automatically sexualizing something, and it makes you feel a certain way, you may need to talk to a therapist and evaluate what the hell you're doing,
Well,
because you could
I'll
be traumatized
I'll say this.
by, well, not
I haven't.
traumatized, but yeah.
I'll say
Anyway.
this. I haven't watched any of the Magic Mike movies, right? And it's not because look, Steven Soderbergh is a fantastic director, and it's not because I'm gonna be traumatized or anything. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not something that I'm would be into. You know what I'm saying? Seeing a bunch of dudes strip. More power to them. Get that paper. It's just not for me. So I'll give
Mhm.
you another good example is
Which is fine, but would you go if your girlfriend wanted to go see it? Would you go with her?
no, because it's not
See, but
my thing. Like there's a
see, but
lot
I
of
think I think women do the opposite for men though a lot, and that's part of the not
right. No,
problem, but
my
the thing
lady,
because
she
women will
she will
go
see
and hang
whatever I
out.
want to see.
Right, so she might not be into Top Gun, but she'll go see Top Gun with you because you want to. And men don't often do the same because they feel personally attacked by the media rather
No,
than
no,
just
but
saying,
that's
"Hey,
not
we're
that's
my
not my
girlfriend."
case.
I know, I'm
That's
not saying you. I'm not saying
hmm
you. I'm just saying that like this I think is oftentimes the state of play. So
uh-huh.
rather than so it ends up being that the woman makes all the compromise instead of the man that
Mhm.
makes the compromise. And
Well,
I mean, there's lots of reasons for things to happen. It's not like you can single out one specific anecdote to make everything fit into line. But I do think that oftentimes women will find themselves in positions of compromise, especially when it comes to different kinds of media, and say, sure, we'll go see this because I know you want to see it. But the moment that it's switched up, then it has to be girls' night out, and the girls go see it because the guys feel like, no, no, I don't want to go see that. No, even if you want to see it, that's not my thing. And that's why movies get labeled chick flicks, not
Mhm.
because I think, only women like it, but because men don't oftentimes want to accompany women to see movies that they like. That's
well,
You,
I'll
you,
say this. I'll say this. Like there was a TV show called Oz, right? And it was
oh,
like
I
based in
remember Oz.
prison and stuff, and
Yeah.
it had like a lot of homosexual content. Loved the show, but I could not watch those scenes, right? So
Mhm.
I would always have to record it first so I can fast forward, through the scenes. It was too much. I could, that wasn't what I want to see, right? And but like I said, it was important to the show because you're not going to do a prison show and not have it in there. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
wouldn't be realistic.
And
But
like I feel the same way about not that I couldn't watch it, but 50 Shades of Grey. I went on a date to watch that
mhm.
movie. I don't think I would date anyone that likes that type of shit. And not the content itself, not the BDSM and stuff. It was just that it's poor writing.
Oh yeah.
And Magic
You mean
Mike,
from a quality standpoint?
yeah, I watched like probably one quarter or like Magic Mike, like probably the first 10 minutes of it, and it was like, what? Like it's just it's a corny ass movie. It's like
It looks like it
like
is. Yeah.
it's like a lot of the chick flicks, poor writing. They kind of get to the parts that women like, and there's no story, there's no value in the story. So it's like I tend wouldn't even date somebody that's interested in corny shit. I'm interested in
But
someone that actually
But
finds
but
but see
value
you know
but see
you know what's funny though?
let's see.
There's a
Hey,
movie.
I
There's a movie. Wait, there's real quick. There's a movie that's not gay enough, and you would never think I would say that. Is the movie Bohemian Rhapsody about Freddie Mercury? It was like they kind of watered down his his personal life in that movie. So that's the one movie I'll
see.
say that the movie wasn't gay enough.
I gotta say, I actually find that kind of because I know it doesn't come from a place of I know it doesn't come from a place of being judgmental, but it comes off as being judgmental because
Hmm.
I'm not. I certainly am not the most intellectual person on the planet, right? I mean, I have a far way to go as far as that's concerned, but
I disagree, but
I
anyway.
Yeah,
am
no, you're very intellectual.
but I do find myself in the role sometimes of being, more intellectual perhaps than some of the people around me. However, that does not at all excuse me in any way, shape, or form from in wanting to enjoy the things that my friends want to enjoy, or finding my own joy in the really stupid, simple, corny, dumb things. And you know what? Maybe part of this is I think because I raised kids and I was exposed to so much poor writing. And I mean, it's for kids. What can you do? Um,
Mm.
I don't actually mind it. What I mind is when people want to have a good time and then they don't have a good time because they're so caught up on some sticking point that doesn't matter. When I'm out with a person or people, I'm out with a person or people. And no matter what we do, whether it seems silly or fun or totally intellectual or some variation on that concept, I'm there to be present with those people. And that's the enjoyment out of it. So whether it's a chick flick or whether it's a military docudrama or whatever it is, I'm present. And that's what I think we kind of miss by labeling our media, yes, this is for guys, yes, this is for girls, right?
Hmm.
Well, it's funny. Like most things, if it's good, I want to watch it. Like there's a quote unquote chick flick. I think it's pretty good. It was called The Lake House. It had Keanu Reeves
I
and
love The
Sandra
Lake
Bullock.
House. That was actually pretty good. Yeah.
I think it's a very good movie, and I don't know. It's like with this magical mailbox,
Yep.
where they're
Like a time
talking.
travel thing, right?
Right. And I thought it was. I've seen it like a bunch of times. I think it's a really good movie, and you can. That's considered a chick flick. I think Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Midnight. You can kind of say that's kind of a chick flick in a way. Chick flicks.
I'm a fan of Clueless, Mean Girls.
Clueless is good. Yeah. I've
You
never
know,
seen Mean Girls.
Mean Girls is
I hear
like
it's really good.
every so often I'll watch it. It's so funny. There are some like, because I grew up in a house full of women, so like we watched Waiting to Excel,
Hated that.
jo- I loved it. Like Waiting to Excel, a lot of those drama flicks and stuff I enjoyed. It just really good dynamic. I was always interested in the the dynamic of relationships, right?
Right.
And exploring that. I think 50 Shades of Grey, I think, had such a good potential to be a great film,
Hmm.
because with the visuals of the Red Room and stuff like that, I think it could have been a really great film had it been written in a way where there was more, dynamic. There was no more dynamics at play. And I get that certain films are written in such a way to, like because I don't understand that. Obviously, she wrote as a woman. She wrote as what she enjoyed, because obviously she wasn't focused on the writing aspect of it, but she wrote it from her perspective, and a lot of people connected with her on that perspective.
Okay,
It
okay,
was
wait,
just really
wait.
hard to it was hard to digest that movie.
Okay, wait. We got to set the record straight here. 50 Shades of Grey was written as Twilight fan fiction. So the dynamic between the two really had everything to do with the dynamic that was basically vampire younger girl kind of feel, and then she morphed that into this real sort of relationship in the writing in 50 Shades of Grey is terrible. It's terrible. But the reason that women connected with it was because it was terrible, and who cares? I mean, honestly, it was just fantasy escapism. That really was what it was. But I have to agree with you. The movie had so much potential, and then there was one, zero chemistry between the two leads. I mean, like, I've never seen two people that I thought, please don't kiss. This is terrible. Like, you're just going to be, this is just full of regret and remorse. This is awful. And number two, they didn't call out the parts that made women happy in that movie. They focused on these like ridiculous side quests, if you will. And it was just like, why? Why make 50 Shades of Grey if it isn't about the sex? Stop. Just
Hmm.
the whole book is about the sex. Why are you concentrating on the stupidest stuff? And that's what I feel like they did. So,
Mhm.
so you're not
Well,
alone in not liking 50 Shades of Grey.
I haven't seen it. Um, I haven't seen any of the Shades of Grey. So,
What
uh,
about Kente? What
Dark
about
Grey.
the Shia LaBeouf? What was that movie called? Shia LaBeouf was in it.
oh, it was like a porno or
It was
something.
like literally a porno. Yeah,
I
the
haven't seen that. It was done in Italy or something like that. Yeah,
yeah, it was some
yeah,
crazy shit, but it was a good
or
movie.
France. I think it was France. Yeah, I didn't see that, but I think that's him trying to say I'm a real actor and all that. I think he's talented actor. But he's just crazy.
But but then you can watch a movie like Nymphomaniac, the part one and part two,
That's the movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
actually and you know what, right, and those two movies together, at least there's continuity in story. At
Yeah.
least at least it makes sense. It's not 50 Shades of Grey. At least it feels as if it's trying to convey something rather than just being a lot of disconnected, mismanaged emotion, which I feel like
You
is
know,
what 50
it's funny. I was watching an interview. Like I watched Scarface again recently,
Ooh.
and I watched a reunion afterwards of the cast. And
Mhm.
Michelle Pfeiffer was saying that feminist groups were upset with her character because they felt like she was submissive and she wasn't a good portrayal of womanhood or whatever. And I'm sitting there like, did they
Wow,
watch the
really?
movie? I'm like,
Yeah, I was just gonna say
she
what?
was
Why?
everything but submissive.
Yeah.
That was the problem they had, was that she wasn't submissive. She was always talking shit to Tony and about how he's always consumed with money and to shut up and all this. I'm like, she was a junkie
Oh my god.
though. I mean,
Mm.
I was just sitting there like, no, she was a pretty strong character for what
It
she
seems
was.
very, very. It seems very off, and it wasn't like she was really in. I don't think she could have been in control. That would have been a completely different movie. Even though she was,
Yeah.
yeah, like even though she was objective over the lifestyle.
Mhm.
Um, and in a way I could see it, because it's like she went from one guy that had everything under control to a guy that didn't have anything under control, and she was much preferring to be, she's much preferring to be submissive in a relationship with a guy that had a level head and so on and so forth. But regardless, I think it's you're the realism in terms of her being a junkie and not really having full control over it. I don't know what anyone would have expected. What was she supposed to do? Being like, you know what? I'm running for presidency. Okay, Tony, bye.
Right, right.
You're
And then, you know
right.
what? And here's the funny thing about the movie is she left the day before he gets assassinated, so she would have been killed in that house too. If
That's
she
right.
had stayed one day longer, she would have been. She actually got away. She got away. Like, every time I see that
Also,
too, I'm like, he could have got it. If he, I mean, one is he was on coke, so he was able to take the bullets. But if he was a little more clear-minded, he might have been able to shoot his way out of there.
Also, that you bring up a really good point. I just had this conversation a couple weeks ago about how feminism does not equal dominance. That
Right.
feminism is not about women being like the pushiest of the pushiest, or the meanest of the meanest, or even the most or I shouldn't say the most. I should say it's not about feminism is not about women not also wanting to explore being submissive or being um in different states. Feminism the is about gender equality in a way that says if you do it, then it is okay for me to do it. That doesn't mean I have to do it, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with me for not doing it. It's that the playing field is open for me to do it if I so choose. And I feel like the same is true for men. Men can choose to do whatever they want, but the field should be open for them to do whatever they want and not be labeled as sissies or not be labeled as, not men or whatever. You're not wimpy just because you're not ultra dominant. And that's what I think we kind of somehow get wrong a little bit. And I see it a lot in movies too.
Well, I'm definitely not wimpy because I'm ultra dominant. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
You know what? I gotta hop off. My kid today is
Mhm.
leaving for Wisconsin. He's
All
moving
right.
on
Yeah.
from Hawaii. He's going off on this big adventure in his life. He's moving today. So I have to get ready because he's gonna be coming over to say goodbye. But this was
Aw.
really fun.
Yeah.
I
And
love you
we
guys.
got
I
to do
miss
our
you guys so much.
podcast. Let's try to do our podcast if you can tomorrow. I know you
Yeah,
got a show.
yeah.
Maybe we could do
I,
it early. Yeah.
right, I do, but it's not till later in the afternoon. I miss you
All
guys so much. I hope we get to do
Yeah,
this really soon. Ryan, it's great to see you.
it's nice to see you too. Have a
Okay, I'll
good
right.
talk to you guys soon.
All
Bye.
right.
bye.
All right. So before we get on out of here, man, like I know you got a lot of stuff going on. What can we look out for with you?
Well, go to digitalstemcell.ca. I've
Mhm.
pretty much relaunched my company to now include my neurodiversity change hustle zone around. I put it all under one banner as a
Uh-huh.
full package, as a way of representing, diversity, inclusion, and neurodiversity, and kind of making that my offering. And so you can check me out at digitalstemcell.ca. I'm at 200,000 followers collectively on
Oh
social
wow.
platforms.
Go
Millions.
ahead, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh
Go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah. Is there
Millions.
is there any I know we're about to leave, but were you following the pearly thing?
The witch?
The just pearly thing?
The Jess Pearly?
Yeah. Oh, okay. There's the white woman. Her name is Just Pearly Things, and she's from American, but she's out of England, and she was it was like that big scandal where she was talking about slavery and about and all the black manosphere where some of them were defending her and all of that kind of stuff. I
Mm.
could have sworn that maybe did you do something on that?
You know what? I've maybe would have talked about her in a few, like I kind
Uh-huh.
of I ignore her. I think
Right.
I think everything that she says is trash.
Hmm.
And I think she's really doing it to
And she's not an original.
I don't think she means what she says.
No.
I think she's saying these things for clout. And like she's speaking for men and just being a like this whole red pill thing is falling apart. A lot of people are growing up and
Mhm.
realizing, like, even Andrew
Yeah.
Tate is starting to change his position on things. So, I'm just watching this stuff kind of take its because it's like reality, right? Like there's you these people, whether they're on either end of the spectrum, they're creating false dichotomy and you know and these discussions, men versus women and women versus men, this false dichotomy that they're creating is kind of dying out because nobody wants to hear that trash. um and I think she's just trash, and there's a lot of women like that on not a lot, but like that are just coming out and trying to play that role to get
The Melanie
followers.
Kings and that ilk. And what's up, Aaron? Aaron, we gotta have to have you pop on with us and chop it up, man. I know you got a lot of good things going on. But yeah, I thought it was Andre Harrison, he did a couple of videos on it that were really good. And being that I wasn't online doing stuff, I kind of wanted to, and I don't normally go after the stuff that's in the media like that, but that was one that I definitely wanted to talk about because um, I've been having my eye on that community for quite a while because they play a major influence, for good, better or for worse, in the way that a lot of people um, you know do content and what they're putting out there in the world and stuff like that. And it was like I it was oh, we're talking about, I don't know if you know about the Just Pearly things. She was this white woman that's trying to be the next Kevin Samuels, and she was talking some real racist shit about slavery and stuff. And
Mhm.
we just brought it up just briefly. We weren't going into a big discussion about it. We were talking about breakups and all that kind of stuff earlier. But I think it's a interesting conversation, because of they reach a lot of people. And like, I give you an example. I know a lot of women who they'll be dating a guy because they don't know, they won't know anything about none of this stuff, and then they'll be like, this guy, I was dating this guy and he started talking about like just something that a Kevin Samuels follower would say, and if you
Mhm.
don't know, it takes you aback because you're not used to hearing guys talk like that. And
Mhm.
then I would tell them, I was like, oh, he follows Kevin Samuels more than likely, or Alpha Male Strategies, which I don't even know if that guy's still around.
Mhm.
I haven't really seen him in a
Who?
while.
Kevin Samuels?
No, Alpha Male Strategies. Kevin Samuels
Yeah. Yeah.
speaks,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but I guess he's still around. I mean, I ain't heard nothing, you know, else. But and so if you don't know, you're like the people that you're dating, where they're getting their talking points or their from, or how to treat people, or this is what you do and all that. You have no idea. And so
Mhm.
I've definitely shared. I was like, oh, this is what you're up against. This is what they're. Yeah. Oh, he keeps getting locked up. Oh, wow.
Mhm. Alpha
Oh, I
male
didn't know that.
strategies. Alpha
Oh, I didn't
male
even know that. I didn't know that he was
strategies.
getting locked up.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm behind on all the stuff, but
Alpha male strategy. Okay, so this dude. Yeah. 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 I know this dude. This dude.
yeah.
Yeah. He's Yeah, they're all trash. I listen to all of them talk, and I'm like, man, first and foremost, these guys are relatively good looking for the women that are attracted to them, right? And they're
Hmm.
giving guys the shtick behind what they're saying, is that you could be like me, right? And a
Right.
lot of a lot of the guys that are fanboys of them are dudes that are ugly, that don't have money, that are sitting on the couch looking for quick get rich quick schemes to make money fast, that sort
Right.
of thing. And they use their savings and they pay these guys. And then they're the ones that call me a simp because I stand up for black women. and but they're simping for these dudes. It's like all the money that you have in your bank account, you're giving it to these dudes, and these dudes are grifting, right?
Yeah.
Because they know, like this alpha male strategies guy, he knows how to treat a woman. You could tell he knows how to treat a woman,
Right.
right? But he's giving advice to dudes that is contrary to what is actually the reality, and that's why the red pill philosophies and strategies, they're not really reality, because a lot of the dudes, I haven't seen one of these guys actually get into a relationship. You know,
Yeah.
they call
Well,
they.
a lot of them are. I hate to use this term, but a lot of them are just like hurt. So this is
Mhm.
how they deal with it. But I mean, look, I feel like in even the best bullshit, there's a little bit of truth in there. So, you know, because you got to say something that's gonna make the person go, "Oh wow, I see what you're saying."
Mhm.
And they're a con artist. Most of these people, you find out, like that guy Donovan Sharp, you found out that he didn't lie about his woman. Like he said she was way younger and she was a lot older. Like all the stuff he says don't do and all that. He's breaking all them, because he's trying to get paid. And that guy, I can't stand that guy, Donovan Sharp. Um, and they don't even use their own. This is the crazy thing is they don't even use their own shit. They're stealing it from other people. So it's not even their own thought. Like the guy we used to have on, Alan Roger Curry. He used to come on our show a lot. They were
Mhm.
stealing from him. Like he was, at least this was his thoughts. These were things that he put together. And Alpha Male Strategies, was taking a lot of his talking points and wasn't giving him credit for it.
Mhm.
And then using it in his own kind of way that was stretching it. So I'm like, this is like, if you're gonna be this person, at least be it with your own thoughts. Don't
Mhm.
take from other people, or what I like is when someone is using someone else's thing, they'll say, well, Ryan Perez, I was reading Ryan Perez's book and he talks about, you know what I'm saying? Then you're giving,
Mhm.
instead of just, I'm gonna just use what I got out of Ryan's book, but I ain't gonna even, I'm gonna use it almost like it's me saying it, like
Mhm.
if I'm gonna steal from you, Ryan, I'm gonna say, look, in chapter 13 of Ryan Perez's book, How to Get Them Girls, like
Well,
blah 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 blah,
remember back in the days, like the whole pickup game, right? Like that was
Mm-hmm.
the thing at the time. Like Tariq Nasheed,
Uh-huh.
when he wrote like How to
The
Pimp,
Art of Mackin, yeah.
the Art of Mackin, right? And a lot of people took pages out of his book, and kind of created an industry out of, because the simping term, all that stuff came out of that book. But
Right.
when you look at it from Tariq's perspective, Tariq had a
Mm-hmm.
system of
Right.
how to break women down, and he had a system of how to categorize women and put them into different boxes. So Tariq had a master plan, but these guys took from his
Right.
philosophies and created a I don't need a woman, um and like I don't need to work and I don't need to self improve. And but then like Andrew Tate knew what he was doing, and but then you listen to, like, if you listen long enough to Andrew Tate starts breaking character, because he was telling a guy, like, for example, and I agreed with what he was saying. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
the guy was like, man, Andrew Tate, how do you get like a six-pack really fast? And
Uh-huh.
he's like, dude, like, why does everything have to be fast? Like, why do
Right.
you have to, like, why don't you work hard? Like, why don't you, why don't you work hard to get the things that you want? Why don't you want the stress? That kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, but Andrew Tate, he's smart enough to break character. um and you start seeing him as a man versus him as what he projects. That's why these guys really have to stop believing in the hype. And like, you're in a relationship, a lot of us have been in relationships with pretty women and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
It's not really hard to get a woman to submit to you, but she's
No.
not really submitting to you. If you're a good guy and you're a good nature, a woman would do anything. You don't have to be a fucking dick to
Right.
get a woman to do the things that you want her to do. You just have to be respectful. And that's the point that people are missing. They're being disrespectful, and that's why the statistics are showing now that there are more men that are single now than there ever have been. And that's just due to the fact that these guys don't open the doors for women. They're not gentlemen. A lot of them don't have the money, they don't have the time, they don't want to educate themselves, that sort of thing. And it's like, really, dude, if you really want to be the man and you want to be a high value man, you need to learn how to work with people, because women are everywhere, and women are working, they're in your field and stuff, and even the smartest businessmen know not to treat people that way. So why would you, unless you're going after the 21-year-old girls that have no clue? And that's the point. A lot of these guys are talking about, only going after the 21-year-old girls. And these girls don't have, like, when you look at that Pearly girl, whatever her name is, um, when they're doing these podcasts, who do you think is sitting in these podcasts? It's just 21-year-old, 23-year-old, 22-year-old girls. What do they know about life? Like, I'm listening to this
Nothing.
shit. I'm like, none of this is realistic. It's all hypothetical. And, like, they're talking about hypothetical situations that they haven't lived yet. And then you have these guys dominating the conversation and asking them questions and putting them in this sort of logical box. And you're just like, man, you guys are talking a bunch of trash. You know, we all know, like, Kente, we all know, like, when you get
Right.
older, you ain't in control. You ain't in control.
No.
You ain't in
No.
control. You, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you put your foot down, if you want to get that meatloaf.
Right. You know what's so funny? I was telling her that too. I was saying, I said, look, I'm the man and all that kind of stuff, and I said, but at the end of the day, you get what you want. And she's like, what? Me? She's like, me? I was like, yeah. It's like, what I said, okay, what's the thing? Happy life, happy wife, happy life, right? There ain't no shit that even rhymes with husband. You know what I'm saying? You can't even find some shit to rhyme with husband. Happy husband, happy husband. Like it don't even exist. So
Happy
she was
husband,
like,
Teddy Ruxpin. I don't know.
because she was like, well, what about happy house, happy spouse? I said, but that still includes you. You know what I mean? So there's nothing that just for us. If look, if she's not happy, the house ain't gonna be happy.
Exactly.
You
That's right.
know, so it is what it is. Though. I
Yeah.
know Aaron was saying he was trying to come on, but I gotta go. I gotta. I'm gonna go take the doggy for a walk. But it was great, man. We got to do this more often, man. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
We're on StreamYard, but we're actually about to log off. I have a little puppy, and I'm about to go take him so he can do his business. So I have a little camera so I can see where he's at, and he's doing the get me take me out dance. So all right, you guys.
All right.
It was
Talk to you
great.
later.
Yeah, it was great. Peace.